Okay, let's take a look how to deploy VMs with the built-in recipes of Verge. Obviously, first of all, let's log in to the portal. Again, you may need to actually log into the tenants instead of the root. So make sure you are inside of the red tenant first, and then click on machines. And right here, you have the option of new VM. Or if you want, you can go ahead and click into the virtual machines and you will see the list of all of the VMs you already have. And here you also see the new. And by default, it will actually use the built-in recipes. So here is the category, catalogs, and also operating systems, marketplace, and you can see all of these. Right, most of them are Linux, and two of them are Windows Server 2022 and 2025. Just make sure one thing, because they are evaluation. So if you actually gonna transition them into production, make sure it is not domain controller, because technically it's impossible to turn evaluation into production if you install the domain controller role. So yeah, that's important. So also, if you don't see any of these, either it's possible that the license is not installed. So you may need to actually go to the system and go to updates to install the license, right? Or you may actually need to go to the repositories and click on marketplace, and you'll see the VM recipes right here. So if they are not downloaded, it may show as red, but it's okay. Just click on it and click on download or update. So I notice Verge frequently release updated recipes. So if you want, you can just go ahead and update the recipe. So the next time someone else deploy the VM, they can also deploy the latest version. And we can try to deploy the Ubuntu server 2404, which I already have it downloaded. To deploy Linux and Windows is slightly different. So I'm gonna show both. So just put in the name. Usually, whatever. So it's like the customer name dash the server name and a number. Usually that's how we name the VMs, right? And give enough cores and RAM, and also the host name. So usually we match the VM name and host name, and we don't need to enable UEFI for Linux. The network depends on if it needs to be static or not. One thing which is good is all of the Linux recipes, they use the cloud init, which if we actually set any of the IPs here, it will actually set inside of the Linux machine. So you don't need to change anything inside the Linux. So it's very convenient. So here, if we put static and then IP, if you put auto, it will assign an IP it thinks is right. If it's on external, I'm not sure if I actually never tried, because if it's on external, most likely we need to give it a proper IP, right? But if it's on internal, for example, this is an internal network. So if it's on auto, because this internal network already has the network information inside of it, so it will automatically assign an IP address to it. But just try not to use it if possible. Always assign static for the servers. And even if it's some kind of VDI, assign static. I think it's better practice than just give DCP to everything, right? And also, 77, sure. And then give the whatever gateway, maybe it's .1, and the name servers. Depends on if it needs to resolve to the AD, right? If it's AD, maybe we'll give it AD IP. If not, it's just, yeah, I like 1111 or 8888. It's just whatever you like. And the size of the drive. And don't be too frugal on this, because thanks to the dedupe on Verge, it is okay to give a little bit more space, just in case if you need to resize it or anything. It's not going to take a lot of space because Verge just dedupes everything. And again, set the username and password right here and submit, and it will start to import the VM. Let me just do it right here and submit. And the status is stopped because it's importing. It should be importing because it's too fast. It's already done. So it imported the drive, and then you can go ahead and put it up. It would take a little bit of time, especially for Linux. It will actually boot up. Let me see if it has has any valid IP. I just put in a random IP, right? Oh, the network internal. So the first boot, it will actually try to pull the updates. So it may run for a couple of minutes before it's ready. So yeah, give it that time. By any chance, if the network actually doesn't work, it will try to still do it whenever the network comes back. So if you're working on it and give it internet, and suddenly it starts to pop up a lot of things, especially the updates and that kind of stuff, it's because it's because of that. So, and also if you deploy Windows, it's slightly different. First of all, you may want to enable UEFI. Right, for server, it doesn't really require for 2022. I don't even think 2025 requires it, but obviously Windows 11 requires your EFI and a TPU module. So yeah, most of the stuff is the same. Yeah, I think that's it. Obviously, if we put in the key here, it will actually install as production instead of evaluation. And also make sure pick the right version. So somehow it defaults to data center is because it's probably because it's D, it's before S. But I think it should really default to standard because the scenario of using data center is very rare. So yeah, and also make sure to click on accept EULA. And for the drive, it's okay for the C drive to have about 100 gigs, 100, 120, that's all good. And you can always add other drives after you create a system drive. And it's the same thing after you create the VM. It's not going to be like Linux. It's not going to update itself. But yeah, just go ahead and put it up after import. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. Some basics on how to use the built-in recipes to build VMs on VergeOS. Thank you.